Valentine's Day has us thinking about love, but who's giving it and who's receiving it? Because let's be real, the most important love story isn't with someone else, it's with you. Because if you don't know yourself, if you don't trust yourself, and if you don't love yourself and respect yourself first, how can you expect anyone else to? In this episode, I am spilling the tea on how to truly fall in love with yourself. We're talking emotional mastery, setting boundaries, letting go of perfection, and tuning into your intuition like never before. This episode will change you, enlighten you, and spoiler alert, it just might change your life. So grab a cuppa, have your journal ready, because this episode is full of the good stuff that will have you reflecting and taking inspired action to transform, empower, and awaken your authenticity. Let's get to it. Hey fam, are you ready to prioritize your mental health, build that strong bod, grow some wealth, and pursue your passions with purpose in this crazy world? Then you've come to the right table. Grab a cuppa and get ready to sip tea with me. I'm your host, Aunt Lise, here to serve up the tea to help you find freedom and clarity in the midst of chaos and confusion. Your Riz needs to be fire because your unique gifts are what's going to create massive impact and initiate change right now. So get ready to slay because your authenticity is about to be lit. Valentine's Day often puts the focus on receiving love from someone else, but let's flip the script. Whether in a relationship or not, the most important love you can experience is the love you give yourself. But how can we truly fall in love with ourselves or expect anyone else to if we don't even know who we are? In this episode, we'll explore where we seek approval, why others' perceptions don't matter, how embracing our past wounds help us reclaim power, how forgiveness, boundaries, and emotional regulation are superpowers, how detaching from the outside judgments and connecting with our own intuition creates peace, and most importantly, how to pay attention to what actually feels good so we can begin to understand what lights our fire and ask for more of that. Before we move forward, we usually need to take a look back. I talk about this in my book, The Men We Meet, 15 Key Lessons Learned in Love. Although the book focuses a lot on the romantic relationships I have learned from, in the beginning of the story, I explore the relationships I had as a child with my dad, my stepdad, and my two brothers, not to mention my gramps. Because embracing past wounds and perceived mistakes helps us to understand why and where we might be holding back or have a barrier or a defense mechanism keeping us from giving and receiving love. A really basic personal example of this that I can share is losing my dad when I was 5. It caused me to subconsciously choose to never be hurt or left behind again. So even from that young age, I began to live from a place of fierce independence, weaving a life that would protect me and allow me to be in control. I would choose friends, leadership roles, career, travel, and of course, partnerships that supported my story of being strong and disconnected. This served me for a really long time. I was praised for my independence, and I was often told how strong I was. In the book, I also talk about getting married at 22 to a great guy. We are still good friends. When we got divorced, I had never felt that level of failure before. How had I made this promise to partner with this person forever when I had no idea of who I was? How had I epically failed to communicate with and love this man the way he deserved? I wasn't going to figure it out on my own, but I was pretty sure it had something to do with my childhood. I found a class called Fatherless Daughters offered through Adult School, led by a psychologist named Myrna Miller. I went on to spend some time with her privately and in her group sessions. I just want to say group can be a real eye-opener, and we learn so much from others' stories, or if we are all brave enough to share them. She helped me to understand the survival techniques I had been relying on my whole life and helped me to begin to unravel those behaviors that kept me from truly connecting. I have so much gratitude for her wisdom. Let's just say that trauma isn't meant to define you. It's meant to refine you. Every challenge has helped me become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. It's allowed me to gain the awareness I needed to be of service to others, and your challenges have done the same for you. you have to lean into those gifts and into that grit that you gained through those challenges. When you shift out of your victim mode and find the blessing in the pain, there is a door that opens and leads to empowerment, freedom, and peace. And you'll begin to see the strengths and truths about who you truly are. I'd like to throw in a journal prompt here. How has one of my hardest experiences actually been one of my greatest lessons? Just ask yourself. Of course, often partnered with those childhood wounds comes the need for approval. And if you haven't listened to episode 2 of the podcast yet, it is all about approval seeking. But we're going to just go ahead and review it one more time. When we have been hurt, when we lack a sense of security or trust, or feel abandoned, we will look outside of ourselves for someone to mend our broken heart or to tell us that we're okay. This causes many of us to define ourselves by how others see us. Here's just a few journal prompts to help you identify the need for approval. The first one, where in my life am I making choices based on approval rather than authenticity? Also ask, am I making choices based on my own truth or external validation? Make a list of who comes to mind when you feel into needing approval. And last, think of a situation where you are seeking approval and explore how you could give that approval to yourself and what it would feel like to make your decision based on your own truth. Let's go ahead and talk about why other people's perceptions just don't matter. People will always have opinions about who you are, but their perception is not your truth. Family, friends, society see us through their own lenses, but we don't have to carry their expectations. Letting go of labels and outside opinions is a massive step towards true self-love. I want to mention this story that someone told me once about how we should imagine our lives like a movie. So I am going to make a movie about myself, and I'm going to invite all the people I know to come to the movie. I invite them to the movie theater, and we're sitting in the theater, and let's say my sister's next to me, my best friend's next to me, my mom's next to me, my niece is next to me, my dads are next to me. They're all there. And the movie starts playing, and the opening credits come on, and the first scene happens, and that scene is between me and my sister and whatever we're talking about. And I just want to preface this by I am so lucky to have an amazing sister in my life. So we're just talking, and my sister is saying, who are those people on the screen? I thought this movie was about you. And I'm like, what do you mean? The people on the screen, that's me. And the other person is you. And she's like, no, it's not. That's not me. And guess what? That's not you either. And then my mom says, what do you mean those are you guys? That's not your sister. That's not you. And everybody chimes in, and nobody recognizes each other because everyone has their own perception of themselves, and they also have their own perception of you. And the only one that really matters is how you see yourself and that it feels authentic. So some journal prompts here would be, what is one label or expectation that I've been holding onto that isn't actually me? Like I was saying earlier, mine was that I was this fiercely independent person that didn't need anyone and that didn't want those deep connections, and yet that wasn't actually me. So find your one label or expectation that you've been holding onto that doesn't feel quite right with you. Also, ask yourself, who do I give my power away to by allowing them to dictate who I am? That's a good one. Next, can you think of a situation where you did not receive a stamp of approval and how you could give yourself what you were seeking from someone else? It really helps to get to know yourself by just tuning into your own gut instinct. I'm going to talk about this often because I'm probably going to talk about it actually in every episode, because your gut is where everything happens. I talk about it in my book. I talk about it almost every podcast. I talk about it in conversations constantly. Your intuition is one of your greatest gifts, but most of us are trained to just ignore it. We're distracted by relationships, work, finances, social media. Oh my God, so much by social media. The list goes on and on. But the best way to know who you are is to find the quiet spaces, to slow down enough to feel that gut instinct or to hear that little voice that's sending you messages. This is why people so often turn to prayer, to meditation, or to breath work. But you don't have to sit on a yoga mat for hours to tap into your inner knowing. Although I am a yoga instructor and I do like the idea of you sitting on your yoga mat. You can do this anywhere. You can do it anytime. And just like we said before, you simply have to find the space between the trigger and the response. So whatever's coming at you, whether it's emotions, whether it is somebody else's feeling, whether it's something you saw on social media or on the news, whatever it is, when it triggers you and you feel something that feels off and you're waiting to make the next choice or waiting to take action, you just want to really lean into that little bit of space, take some deep breaths, and then feel into what your true response wants to be, and then allow yourself to answer. Here's a great exercise. We're going to call it the gut check ritual. So you want to build a simple practice in trust so that your intuition becomes stronger and stronger and that you deepen your self-awareness. The first one would be get grounded. Find a comfortable standing position, close your eyes, and take 3 to 10 deep belly breaths. Feel your feet on the ground, anchoring you to the present moment. Breath is the key here. It calms the nervous system and brings you out of your head and back into your body. Tune into your body's wisdom. Think of a simple yes or no question, something that's relevant to you, like, is this job right for me? Should I say yes to this opportunity? Is this person aligned with my highest good? Just yes or no questions. Feel the answer. After asking your question, notice if your body subtly moves forward or backward. You might also just feel a heightened energy if the answer is yes, or you might feel kind of a dragging or something that doesn't feel quite right in your gut, or maybe even in your chest or throat if the answer is a no. And the bonus is gut and heart connection. Place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart and ask yourself, what is my gut telling me? What does my heart feel about this? And again, just notice your body's reaction. You may even hear a little voice pop up in your head. Notice if they align and notice where there's a disconnect. Some journal prompts around this would be, where in my life have I ignored my gut instincts? What was the result of that? Also, what can I do daily to create more space to listen to my intuition? Because really all of this tuning into your intuition, tuning into your gut wisdom and your heart, it affects your frequency. And our energetic frequency is all about what you put out is what you attract. Every single thing is energy. The thoughts you think, the emotions you carry, the choices you make, all create a vibrational frequency. Everything you consume, absorb, and engage with impacts your frequency. We talk about your vibe. It's the same thing. When we are loving ourselves and vibing high and doing all the things that bring us joy, we're like a magnet for the same. And of course, if we're lacking the love of self, that vibe drops and we attract what does not feel good. So let's take an energy audit. How do you give and receive energy? There's so many different ways. One of the hugest ways is the food we eat. We have to think about, does this food nourish me or make me feel sluggish? We also might want to take in consideration when we are preparing our food or whoever is preparing our food, whatever energy that person has who is preparing our food, it's going into the food as they prepare it. So remember, when you're eating and digesting or cooking, just try to be as calm as you can, enjoy the moment, take in the beautiful colors, take your time, and then allow it to nourish you from there. The music we listen to, does it uplift you or does it drain you? We all know that there's certain music we take in that does not feel good to us, that does not raise our vibration. There actually is different vibrations that resonate with different things. So like 432 hertz, it is the vibration of love. We also have vibrations for healing. We have vibrations for, of course, for raising us up, for pulling us down. You want to really take into account whatever it is is, if you've got headphones in your ears right at your head every single bit of the day, you want to make sure that that's something that's really fortifying you. Of course, TV and social media, boy, sometimes it's hard to control what we're consuming, especially in social media, but also in the television, is because it's just flashing up at you, right? And we get into an algorithm, and then the system is feeding us things that maybe we've paused in, and it keeps feeding us more and more of those same things. And it's really repatterning the way we think, and it's patterning the things that we're consuming, and we don't even realize it. So the only way that we can really control this is by tuning out, by stepping away. You want to ask yourself, does this empower me, or is it making me feel negative or less than? Is it promoting a feeling of imposter syndrome? Is it causing me to dim my light? Am I constantly comparing myself? Does it make me feel bad or like I haven't accomplished something? If those are the feelings, even if it's just, let's say for social media, even if it's just a handful of people that you're following that make you feel that way, just go ahead and mute them. It's just beginning to make those choices that allow you to float on a higher frequency. As you remove those things from your social media account, other beautiful things will come in. You can also seek out those things. All these opinions from other people at home, work, and school, and the gym. So anybody's opinions, anybody's ideas that have nothing to do with you, but they're just spewing them. And we are so in this place right now because there's so much division in the world. Really, all I can say about that is keep imagining unity. Keep feeling into what would allow our collective to become stronger and stronger. That is just you standing by your truth, you doing what's right for you, and letting everyone else's opinions and ideas just fall away. You can ask yourself, am I taking on the energy of others, or is this my own? You can ask yourself, do I spend enough time in nature or in sunlight? Am I getting enough fresh air and light to recharge my body? We are one with everything, and we are a part of nature. The more that we can allow ourselves these fresh delights, the more our energy will rise and our vibration will become higher. Am I getting enough movement and exercise? Okay, so if, let's say all those things are happening, you've eaten some crappy food and you've listened to some crappy music and you've indulged in social media all day and you've turned on the news and you've gone to school and you've got the opinions from everyone else and you haven't been out and seen the light of day for days and you are feeling sluggish, tired, your body aches, your stomach hurts, you have a headache. We have to move this energy. Energy becomes stagnant and just sits in our body. So whatever way that you can move it, whether it's taking a walk, shaking it out, dancing in your living room, stretching, gardening, whatever it is, just allow yourself to move your body and do it intentionally. Do it connected to breath and ask those energies that don't serve you to be gone from your body. You also want to think about the products that you use. Are they clean or are they full of chemicals? I'm really mindful about what I put on my body, and you need to ask yourself, how are you being mindful about that? Because all of those toxins are flowing into our system and also dimming our frequency. This causes us to feel yucky, and when we feel yucky, we feel less wonderful about ourselves and we have less love for ourselves. So remember, your energy is your responsibility. You have to protect it like the valuable resource that it is. Here's your journal prompts. What is one habit, relationship, or thought pattern that is lowering my frequency? What are 3 things that make me feel good, vibrant, and energized? And how can I bring more of them into my life? I am always thinking about swimming and going to the beach and being around the people that light me up. And I'd love to hear what your list is too. And the most asked question I get is, how can I love myself more? You know what? Just do what feels good and healthy. Bliss out. Lean into those relationships and activities that make you want. Travel to places that make you feel vibrant. Eat foods that fuel you and play in the sunshine. Dance and swim, bake, paint, juggle, hang glide. Whatever it is you love to do, fill your life with more and more of that so the goodness just overflows. Our key takeaways and affirmations from this situation is love is about knowing yourself, regulating emotions, setting boundaries, forgiving yourself, and raising your frequency to bliss out. 5 affirmations that seal this work in today. I'd love it if you say them with me wherever you are. If you're out in Trader Joe's line, then just say it to yourself. But I don't know, maybe if you say it out loud, someone will join you. The first one is, I am worthy of my own love and acceptance. I release the need for outside approval. I trust myself. My past does not define me. It empowers me. I set boundaries that honor my truth and protect my energy. I am a magnet for joy, love, and alignment. If this episode spoke to you, I'd love to hear what resonated most. Screenshot it, share it, tag me on socials, or send me a DM. Or you can always click over to my website and leave me a message and sign up for my email list for all the latest tea. All info is in the show notes. Let's keep this conversation going, gorgeous, because the more we love ourselves, the more we change the world. And remember, you are already whole, you are already enough, and you are already worthy of love. I appreciate you hanging with me today, and I can't wait to sip tea with you again next week. Until then, love yourself up, and happy Valentine's Day. Thanks so much for listening and following Sip Tea with me. It's so important that you embrace your passion and purpose so that you can have a massive impact and take necessary action to change the world. This time with you means so much to me because it allows me to honor and serve my life purpose of inspiring, empowering, and awakening the hearts and minds of you, the next gen, because you are our future. Remember, I'm here to help. I see you. I believe in your ability to make the world a better place. Make sure you hit that follow button, invite a friend, and tune in again next week, fam, as we continue to transform, evolve, and awaken authenticity together. Until then, much love from Auntie Lise.